Oh, we're live. How you doing, Eric?
Feeling good. Whatever this song is, I don't know. Who is it?
Doughboys, Cash Out.
Oh, cool. I don't know who that is, though. An old man.
What? Don't say you're an old man. That's we're hip. We're into it.
I'm an old man mentally.
I've always been kind of that
Yeah.
old man. I used to hang out with one of my best friends, 5 years older than me. Used to hang out with like all older references,
Yeah.
pop culture.
Mm-hmm. Lots of Seinfeld, Cheers references.
Oh God! And I was like, yeah.
See, I thought
Cheers.
I'm an old man too, but like you do make me feel young. The shit you complain about is pretty old manish.
Arthritis.
Well, that's not funny.
Ovaltine's out of stock.
Yep.
My Jitterbug phone doesn't work.
That's my go-to to make fun of my dad's phone.
Is he rocking a
No,
A dumb phone?
He just looks at it like he's an old man, and it's Jitterbug style. I don't know what that means. It's a go-to word to use. Jitterbug. Use it.
It's my go-to. It's my go-to when I'm talking shit about old people.
Yeah. Why don't you read some sponsorship?
I'm just slowing down this autopilot on our camera so
oh
we
my
don't
God,
make
give it to
people
me.
barf.
You are useless with this thing.
I don't know. I don't know how to use it.
He
But
can't
I do
focus.
I do know that it's tax season. Watch out for Liberty Tax. Statue of Liberty's out there trying to get you to pull over and do your taxes over there. You can do them on your own. You can do all your books on your own. You got your side hustle. You got your thing. You're selling your own 3D printed at-home fleshlight business, right?
Right? Yep.
You don't need an accountant.
Do you not need one?
You know, I mean, unless you're starting to get some real girthy sales.
Yeah. Okay.
We call it girthy ROI.
Yeah.
We slip that in the meetings.
You know, you're overusing girthy to the point to where it's going to lose its meaning if you use it. If you apply it to everything,
Well, I only apply it to good things. I'm going to apply it to FreshBooks. FreshBooks, our listeners get a 30-day free trial if they go to gofreshbooks.com/sweat. Like sweat equity, like Key Sweat, but not like 90s R&B style babyface.
Wet sweat.
Wet sweat. Gofreshbooks.com/sweat. It helps the show. All the cash that comes in, it gets reinvested in the show. What does that do? That helps us, even just clicking on it gives us a little something.
Yeah, just do it. Just do it to be nice.
Or if you have a friend, you have that friend that's like complaining about, he keeps his stuff in Excel or Google Docs.
Yeah, you go to his
Sheets.
computer, you go to FreshBooks, you do all the stuff, and you get his credit card number, you put it in. Be sure to put the sweat equity word in there, and then, just do that to all your friends. It'll really help us out.
So gofreshbooks.com/sweat. And if you're listening to this while you're jogging, we'll put it in the description of the episode like we always do to help you out. That's what we're here. That's what the point of this podcast is to do.
Yeah.
It's like we're trying to help people out, man.
Trying to help you here.
Like one little thing, we should do like I'm going to copy Pete Holmes' podcast, I think, and we should do like a free shout out. He calls it Pete's Picks. I like that. I like doing a little shout out because we use so many apps and like productivity things that I came across Trim. You know what Trim is?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That is a dadism.
Yeah.
When you call it muff or trim, that's like a total dad. Like, yeah, you getting some muff, bro? Yeah, I'm a divorced dad.
I don't know what that means, Dad.
Trim, I think it's trim.co, I want to say. But basically, it's a bot that it scans through you have to input all your accounts. So I did it with our business credit card.
Okay.
And what it does is the main hook that got me in was like, we'll look at your internet provider deal and we'll see if we can get you a better deal.
Oh, right. You're telling me
Automatically.
about this thing.
And
this should be something everybody's doing.
So they get a cut of the commission if they make a deal.
Right.
It's like all artificial intelligence stuff. It's just a bot.
And are they negotiating, quote unquote,
Yep.
a new deal on whatever?
Because
on your
that
cable or
stuff
internet?
isn't like a salesman thing. It's like these internet providers or any company, they just go, we can give a promotion of this if the customer asks for it.
Right. I love how it's always like, oh, we can't do that. It's like, you totally can do that easily. You
Right.
just type it in your little computer there. You totally can.
So it's cool. I like this kind of stuff. I've been focusing on personal finance a lot lately, so it's helping in that direction where it's like you're paying a lot on this credit card. You may want to think of these options, which a lot of people might think is intrusive, but I volunteered to get that kind of help. There's another one called Ernie with like a, not IE, but a Y.
Oh, okay. Not like
But
Bert.
I linked it up to link it up to Amazon, my Amazon account, business account, or Amazon account, and it'll show us if we got worked on a price, it can go back and try to get that lower price, so you get that refund.
Oh, if you paid too much on something.
Right. We paid for a new Mevo camera, which we need to do at some point, right? And then
Right.
the price goes down in the next like 60 days, and they give a 60-day guarantee. It'll hook that up, and that's like a bot as well.
It's like that old Circuit City commercial. Do you remember that, where the kid bought the Walkman, and then he brought it back, and he's like, and then later it was this much, and then they give him the cash.
Yeah, and
it was
I
real
remember
touching.
trying to do that, and it was like, nah.
Sorry,
never,
kid.
Never.
How did you even get here? Did
Yeah.
you take the bus?
Oh no, I rode my Huffy 5 miles. It was pretty dangerous. This is Tampa's not very like friendly bike
Right.
city in the 90s.
Where are your parents?
They don't know where I am. So we got to get a little hotty toddy in if you want to close your eyes. We got to go hotty toddy. It's a Sweat Equity podcast. That was
good. I'll take a shorter one. That'll be fine.
I gave you a shorter one.
Yes, thank you.
I know you look like you've had a rough day.
I've had a rough day.
Doing a lot of coding.
Oh my God. Computer codes are so stupid. Nothing makes sense. It's really hard to learn on the fly.
Well, you get that analysis paralysis kind of thing going. We've
Right.
tried to make a rule in the office where if we're working on something like intensely for 45 minutes, we need to take a break and try to talk to the other person.
Yeah. The problem is, like, that's good if you're not making any progress. All I need is a little notch of progress, and I'm like, okay, now I can get back into it. And it's never ending.
Yeah, but we got to look back and go, is that the best way to do it?
I know. I'm just saying, like, it's enough to get me going. You know, it's because it drives me crazy to not get the puzzle figured out.
Yeah, it's kind of like an opiate addict looking for Vicodin. You get a little bit, and you're like, oh, okay. Oh, that guy's mom's got some in his house. Let's go steal some. And you're on the make, man.
Yeah. Her kid's probably at Circuit City right now.
Yeah, well, it's coming back. Did you know that?
What, Circuit City is?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
That's crazy. What?
Because it's a recognizable brand. Everything from the 80s and 90s is going to come back because we go, oh, I know that.
Yeah, because then people our age are the ones who are starting to make money, and then we can spend that money.
That's why you see all these
Stupid shit.
reboots. Right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is familiar. That's bankable. I don't know what Circuit City is going to be as an entity. I read something on LinkedIn. I was like, Circuit City's using brand name to come back.
What if it was a Circuit City, like a city that you could go visit and visit?
a bunch of circuits?
It's like you're inside.
It's really
the
on brand.
Right?
That would be neat.
Roller coasters. People dressed up like computer chips, walking around, hugging kids.
Is Radio Shack still around?
I feel like 10 years ago you're like, no, and now they've been around for so long.
Someone told me
Maybe.
the way they stood around, because I've never seen anybody buy anything from a Radio Shack since maybe 95, and we were fucking dumb 10-year-olds.
Right.
I think they made money off like warranties. Like that was their jam.
Yeah.
So if you bought something there, you got them forever.
It was always weird, like a lot of remote control stuff, like for like cars and airplanes and all that stuff.
It should have merged with Spencer's Gifts and just become like the Virgin store forever.
It does have, it does have like a weird, creepy feel to it. The stuff that they're selling, nothing that you really want, but you could use it. But they still have a website. I'm looking at it right now. Pretty awful.
Well, I mean, as silly as it is, these things have brand equity. Like,
Yeah.
we're talking about them, and I bet people are listening right now, and they're like, "Yeah, I remember that shit.
Right.
I was around. I had my LA gears on.
Yeah.
I was running in there.
LA Gear could make a
Why do they need my address to get batteries? I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
Was the old joke that every stand-up told. You had something to touch on before we get into the
Did you want to
productivity stuff.
Oh, well, I was just saying we could talk about our
yeah.
personality questionnaire thing again, just because it's not something that we just did and it went away. Once we started to like talk about it and think about it, it's like, man, there's so much more to this thing than we even realize.
Yeah, so it's for those that don't know, go back. You can listen to the episode probably about 2 months ago. Eric and I took the advanced personality questionnaire. It's basically like an employment assessment test.
Right.
Let's say our mentor, let's call him mentor, urged us to do it. I don't know.
Yeah,
he dispenses advice and we take
That's
it.
true. I've probably listened to that guy more than
I don't
anybody.
think he accepted that role yet, but
Right.
we're going to call him that for now.
Latching on.
Or Sage. I don't know. He's giving us advice and we're taking it because
Right.
he's successful.
Yeah.
So we took it and we're like, man, this ain't fucking dumb.
Yeah.
And I probably thought about it every day since.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, once we figured out exactly what it was doing, and overall what it's doing is teaching you telling you what you're good at and what you're bad at, which sounds obvious, but when you can start to take what you're good at and put more energy into that instead of worrying about improving something that your personality is not necessarily going to allow you to be good at, like for us, it was administrative things. Neither of us want to do that because we suck at it, and there it is.
Right. Well, yeah. It's like, so if you're a manager or you're owner of a business, this is a really good cheat code because it's a pretty reliable exam.
Yeah, it's been around for a long time.
Now, my big beef with it is just because I don't love doing it or have a proclivity for administrative doesn't mean I can't do it.
Right.
Right. So I think it's kind of a long term kind of looking at employee hiring. All right. I might hire someone that sucks at like us at the administrative, but they can do it. Right.
Yeah.
But I know down the line they're really good at project managing.
Yeah.
I'm sure those two things are related, but I don't think you could be good at one without being good at the other. Probably.
Yeah, you never know. But yeah, it's definitely something that you can use to target specific. If you have a very specific job that needs to be done that requires a certain personality trait, you can have these results and look at them, and you'll see somebody who's good at it, and you can target them more than another person.
And there's variations of this test. There's another one I just took for funsies recently. That was 138 questions. The APQ, the one we're talking about that we took, that one's 40, right?
I think it was more than that. Sounds like
80.
Yeah.
And then like the first 20 were like aptitude.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like some basic arithmetic stuff, or like it was like this person's in line, Mary's in line, this person's ahead of them, this person's behind them. Where's Jeb in line? And you're like, all right, I guess I'll write this out like a fucking fifth grader.
Yeah.
And then
there's nothing wrong with writing it out. You can write it out.
Well, was it timed? Was that one timed?
The APQ was timed, I believe.
Yeah, so that always stresses me out because I don't read very well.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's part of the test.
My reading comprehension was always low, so I was like, I always sweat that out. Am I gonna have time to read it? Because I read a lot of stuff without reading the whole thing.
Yeah, I
like
get it.
Everyone's emails.
Yeah.
If you want to email us, law@tocoworks, LAWTOCOWORKS, or Eric@tocoworks, TOCOWORKS.com. We're starting to get some emails in. I like it.
Bullet points are nice, though. Just bullet point it for us.
So APQ, it's like you answer as your actual self in a question, and you answer as like the best job interview version of you, right?
You answer in a way that you think a job interviewer would want them to answer,
right?
If that makes sense.
Yeah, like what would the biggest brown nose,
right?
Kiss
Exactly.
ass do?
Yeah, exactly. And that was where we were just kind of like, we never matched up with the brown nose. At least me, I don't think. My answers.
I don't remember, honestly.
We both scored highly independent.
Yeah.
Which is just, it's good, but right now we could use some,
So
some teamwork.
it can thumb through. It thumbs through a bunch of sales profiles, and it thumbs through a bunch of management profiles, right?
Right. I'm looking at
What was
different-
yours? Like, what was your best one? I know my worst one was, I think project management was like a 19, but it's kind of like, I guess, I don't know. I don't find myself hating it. Like, I hate admin for sure.
Right. My highest was the need to serve at a 95%,
Yeah,
which
makes sense.
yeah, it makes sense for somebody like me. I'm not exactly driven by money. Like, I'm more driven to make somebody else happy or, help out in a way, sort of thing. And it's a good, it really shines a light on these things that you might not even realize about yourself.
It's tough because you have confirmation bias, obviously, going into it.
Right.
And I'm stubborn when I get notes about me doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's tough. It was tough for me to kind of bite my tongue and just take this test and what the results were back.
Yeah. It's weird because I think for both of us, humor or creativity is like a big part of who we are, sort of thing, and it doesn't really account for that.
Or work ethic?
Yeah. I don't know. You could say
nah. What does it say?
intensity, drive is a good way to put.
But drive is incentivized, right? So like, I guess no, because work ethic, it doesn't need to be incentivized.
Yeah.
Because drive is like all selfish-ish usually.
But why are you working hard? It's to make yourself feel better in the end, right? Whether you're making money or building a table.
I believe that's called psychological egoism, maybe. I don't know how
Maybe.
We'll have to look that one up. That I'm pulling out of a psych class from college from like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I probably got that wrong.
Definitely.
But it is like, it's a good cheat code. I think it gives you, if you have to hire quickly at a higher level, I think it's a good way to go, okay, this person's probably better for this long term.
Yeah. I mean, if you're using it for hiring, you're going to use it in a higher level situation for sure. You're not, McDonald's employees aren't necessarily doing this test because you don't need to. You know, it's like, but for somebody you're going to invest a lot of money in, definitely worth the $150.
Yeah, because that hiring's a secret cost that people don't realize. I think they just think every office eventually just sucks over time.
Yeah.
And I think the tech people kind of get it in a way. I don't like the ping pong tables and shit, but I like that they are good about the psychology of making a good work environment. What's the most efficient? What's the best flex hours? Or, you can have as many days off as you want as long as you get your work done.
Yeah.
I think you're seeing a lot more of that stuff. So I think a lot more of this is going to be commonplace going forward, even though this is a 100-year-old test or something like that.
Right. Well, I mean, it's getting easier to quantify things that in the past have not been quantifiable, like your personality or whatever, even though this has been around for 100 years, but something new will come along, I don't know what they do at Google or ping pong companies, whatever.
Have you read Google questions?
No.
Oh, dude. We'll do that maybe next pod. Those questions are like, there's no right answer kind of thing. It's how you're figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
Those are difficult.
Oh, okay.
My wife was telling me some of them when she had one on job interviews. She's like, "Oh, I've heard these." I was like, "Oh, that's like cheating."
Yeah.
You know how to answer this because she was doing it for fun. But I guess if you're proactively doing it for fun, you're ready to win.
Score high on the nerd
right
scale.
You call my wife a nerd?
Oh, yeah.
No,
You're a nerd, Mona.
My boo, love you, nerd. So I was hitting you up on Friday because I was like, oh, I didn't even look through every one of these job titles, and the highest one I had was, we were looking them over. Our mentor was scaring us straight on who we are, basically, and it was that thing of like, I think we skipped one, and I don't know if it's on purpose or if it was, or if it we just skipped it because we were going really quick. But my highest score was an 88 with the dynamic CEO. And,
yeah.
And I got a lot of stuff where it's like, I'm best fit for ops. And I was like, yeah, I mean, okay. Yeah, I get. It's one of those things where it's hard to take that and go, Yeah, sure.
Right. 'Cause, yeah, you can't just be a CEO. You got to do the other jobs first.
My conservative CEO score was 69. And then conservative that, huh?
Like sex.
Never.
Yeah, we didn't even realize when we first talked about this, the different things that it rates you on in terms of it'll break down what kind of different managers there are and how you would work as that sort of manager.
You got really bummed because you thought you scored so vanilla.
I scored low. Basically, I should be homeless. Like, I shouldn't have a job. There's nothing that's like...
That's not true at all. You got bummed because there's a crosshairs, right? There's four quadrants. It's
Right.
like expressive communicator, direct driver.
Whatever they are.
There's two more.
Yeah.
But you guys kind of know what we're going with this. And then in the middle, you're just kind of you're a good average of all of those, which is good.
Right.
That's a good
And
thing.
it's accurate, too. I would consider myself adaptable, like...
I think that's the biggest thing for digital services and consulting by far. Can you come in, learn it on the fly, and learn to work with people too that you don't know that well?
Yeah.
Become fast friends with them and figure out how to extract what you need from them.
Yeah. I mean, for what what we're doing now it's perfect because I'm sitting here Googling stuff every day that I have no idea how to do it until I figure it out.
Right, and
adapting.
And that shit, it gets easier too to figure out how to find stuff because you'll proactively go, when you're looking up something else, you might find an answer to something you may need in the future kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you'll start checking them off because it just saves you so much time.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of saving time, do you have anything more on this?
No.
I just think people should take something like this, one of these tests. I'm sure there's a free version out there of something close to this.
It's not. We're not completely off topic with this because you can take the time to take this test and streamline either yourself or what you're doing, or if you're hiring somebody, you can streamline that way. So it all comes together. A lot of this stuff you're going to need to take time in the beginning to sort it out, and then it'll help your life later on.
And if listeners have taken this test, tell us what you got back, and what you're actually doing now. Like, I think that would be kind of interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
We're doing the Facebook group thing. We need to start engaging a little bit more. I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
I want to engage with the listeners. I think this being an interactive show eventually would be. I think that would be something that's so interesting to kind of be able to, because we'll talk to everybody if it's a good question,
Yeah, that's a weird thing about podcasts. There's not a lot of interactive with listener podcasts. It's a lot of you get talked at, and then maybe you send something in, and then the next show they're talking about it, sort of thing. But we need to think about that.
Yeah, I mean, I would love a Slack group because there are. I know I push Slack a lot, but there's a lot of Slack like groups that are just for chatting about stuff like this.
Yeah.
So maybe one day that, but right now Facebook groups is the easiest because we can just add all our friends at once if we want.
We're going to get you. You can't run from us.
And pages may be dying a little bit. So I think I talked to a bunch of people. I was a pirate in what Tampa's kind of Mardi Gras called Gasparilla. And you know what's funny is I talked to probably 3 people individually that were like, I listened to every episode. And I was like, what? You never told me that.
Tell your friends. God.
So I'm going to tell them, tell your friends. It all helps. We've got some good inertia. We can't talk about it with the show, but there's some stuff that may happen that's big, or it may take us a lot of sweat equity in a couple of years to, use the titular phrase in there to get it to that next level. So we could get it soon with a little oomph from y'all. You want to know the cheat code? Rate, review, 5-star, write a funny one.
Yeah, do it, and we'll read it.
We'll
say your name.
I look like Nicolas Cage in Con Air. Like, you can write that.
Do it.
It's my joke, though.
I look like...
it's actually not even my joke.
It's Joe Pesci after he gets his hair blown off on the blowtorch in Home Alone.
Nice. Yeah.
Give me the patchy.
Yeah. Or Michael Stipe when he had A's.
Damn.
God,
okay.
That's rough. Oh, wow. All right.
I wasn't doing insults for you.
It's all love, man. It's all love. So
I'll take it.
I got to hug the Stanley Cup, and then I yell talk to people. I was so drunk. Like, thank you for like listening. That's awesome. But why don't you tell me? Like, tell other people. Like, just like rambling. So let's do a little productivity stuff.
Okay.
Make work life a little bit easier. You've been working with Zapier.
Yeah, that's a good one. Zapier connects different apps that don't normally connect. So you go on there, zapier.com. They have a whole list of. I haven't come across an app that I can't find on there to need
500.
Yeah.
In the directory.
Right.
All the big guys.
Yeah, and it acts as a if this happens, then do this sort of thing. So it'll connect your different accounts. Like we have a forms account that we use called Cognito Forms, and
shout out Cognito.
You can connect when somebody submits a form. It'll go through Zapier, and then it'll go to another, for example, sales lead company.
Before we bore
site.
everybody, look, the sell on this is. How much of your time on this blue marble do you want to spend doing duplicative shit? That's all I can think about.
Yeah. And that's why I get back to the, like, just do it a little, take time in the beginning, and then it'll be streamlined later on.
Yeah. You can't automate everything in your life or your business, but you can do a lot of stuff that's like, okay, forms are a big one for us. So if you have a website, it's like, whatever your intake form is, or you just sign someone and they got to fill something out. Anything that has some kind of interaction where you don't need to be there, right? They could a customer or client can fill it out on their own. I call it data routing. I don't know if that's the right term.
Makes sense.
But they fill out the form, and instead of it just being the form that all that data goes to, you can take it and integrate it with like your email system, like MailChimp.
Right.
So it'll pull that email out, and now it's going to this form that you needed, this intake form, and MailChimp, and it's going to the phone number is going over to your CRM, like Salesforce or Pipedrive we use as a sales and marketing CRM. And so my thing about this is it's twofold with the forms on websites. I'm big on these because, A, people that use paper forms, just the fucking convoluted, all right, you print it out, you sign it, just send it back.
You're creating
fill it
work
out,
for
send it
yourself
out.
and others.
And in the ADD era, like if you don't get them right then on their phone, if it doesn't work on their phone, like it slows you down, then you have to double back.
Yeah.
Our hatred for admin actually helps with this. Or the other part is less human error.
Yeah,
so
sure.
we've had a lot of law firms that do paper intake forms, and then they're filling them out, and like you can't read the person's handwriting, and they left.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
So it's 9 pages, and then transcribing it too. So there's error there too.
Yeah, I mean anything that is tedious and small, you can almost always find a way to streamline it online. You can't streamline playing with your kids, but the stuff that's, when
we get that AR VR. So Zapier, you make zaps, and they're like you can make a recipe.
Yeah,
I think they call it a recipe or a trigger.
Triggers, I believe.
So it's just it's that programming language. If I do this, this will happen, right? So Zapier is more business associated. Some people like to do a lot of the Google G Suite stuff, connects with all that stuff.
Yep.
It's just one of those things where you're like, if you're frustrated by like administrative stuff, this is kind of the best thing for it. We should be utilizing a little bit more on the communication. So if someone comments on any social media, we should have a Zap that's hitting a Slack channel.
Yeah. I
mean, we do it for clients, but it's one of those things where we should be utilizing Slack as our communication hub for all these things to come in.
Right.
And then you have IFTTT, and that's kind of work and life stuff.
Stands for if this, then that.
Yeah. That one has an app on iOS. I don't think Zapier has an app.
Really?
Which it shouldn't be a big deal, but it kind of is. Because I do a lot of the IFTTT stuff, like kind of like the kids are falling asleep. I can't get up.
Yeah, right,
so I
when
can
you're
like
thinking about it.
Have my phone on me for 20 minutes, and I'll try to do something productive.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I have the Philips smart home stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So if fire goes off, our smoke detectors go off, those hues will turn red, which is like little stuff like that you can do.
Yeah. It's super handy. I need to do it.
I have one set up
I have a
that
stupid home.
every screenshot I take, it'll back it up over an Evernote in a notebook.
Oh.
So that's nice too, because it's like my wife lost her phone and didn't save everything, and even if you're good about saving stuff, sometimes it just hasn't backed up yet.
Yeah.
And you're taking pictures. You got kids' pictures and stuff. I don't know. It's a good thing to have backup systems like that, coverage.
Well, they do have the iCloud, so.
Yeah, but sometimes it doesn't sync because my stuff's too full of like old school porn. I download all mine.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of video.
A lot of hard drives sitting around that house.
You'd be surprised. These VHSs, they don't compress.
They don't hold up.
The pink ones especially. Remember the pink cassette?
I've never.
No, me neither.
Done.
Me neither.
A VHS. I had good parents who cared about what I watched, so I didn't ever get access to that.
I always went to the kids that had shitty parents' house.
They always had the cool shit.
That had go-karts and like didn't give a shit. Just let you just do whatever you want.
You don't need a helmet.
We're gonna do nunchuck fights all day. Okay, just don't bother me.
Yeah,
that was a real thing.
I wish I could get there mentally.
We're gonna watch Glory. You're 9 years old. Yeah, that's fine. That's cool.
Glory, it sounds nice.
Yeah. Have you seen Glory?
No.
Oh, it's pretty gruesome.
Who stars in that?
Denzel.
Glory. No.
Like 90s movie about Civil War.
Assuming Denzel Washington is.
Yeah.
Okay.
How many Denzels are there?
Exactly.
So I would say Zapier. The takeaway from this episode should be like, go check it out. We don't work for Zapier or IFTTT or Trim or Ernie or Asher's Strategies that does the personality quiz. We're trying to tell you good stuff, right?
Yeah, check out. I mean, if you were starting a business and you had a bunch of different apps you wanted to play with, go to Zapier first and see what. Because if you're going between one app or another that do basically the same thing, check it out on here. Check out the integrations that it has. It doesn't have to be Zapier integrations, but just see if it's compatible and then add that into your line of thinking.
Yeah, I do that. I do that with Slack. If it purely integrates with Slack, it's like a reverse engineering.
Yeah.
I'll go, okay, we need a cloud accounting software. Like, I don't know. Should we use FreshBooks? Let's see if it integrates. Oh, it integrates with Slack.
Yeah,
perfect.
Exactly.
Or we needed a project manager. I trimmed it down to the ones that already integrate with Slack because that involves so much stuff going back and forth. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to have Zapier in there, so it was kind of that thing. But we can use Zapier and put it in there to be monkey in the middle and kind of pull out stuff as well for coverage. But we chose Reich and I haven't learned it yet.
It's easy to learn. You just got to take the time and do it. We've got to dedicate ourselves to one. That's the problem. We're always trying to find a better one.
Well, Wunderlist is great for tasks. I was using a Zendu, but once it blew up, I didn't stay on it for like a week. It was so hard to regroup everything.
Really?
Yeah. Just the way that app worked, because it was like, for some reason, it kept everything you did in there. And I was like, I had to like message the guys. I was like, can I reset this? How do I do this? Like, I just want to just blow it up, start over. And they're like, huh.
No, we keep it all.
And then I had it for another couple months just sitting there in subscription land. And Trim could have cut it off. Could have been like, hey, you don't use this.
Jeez. All right. Good to know.
There's a lot of apps for the listeners, but look, all this stuff is like, it's like you want to be healthy. The first 2 months is going to really fucking suck.
Right.
You want to be more productive and streamline shit. It's going to be like a couple of nights of just sitting down and trying to hammer out, like sitting there watching YouTube videos to save you time later.
Yeah.
We call it the ski slope of hours. When we're pitching hours like a retainer, it always looks like a huge ski slope. And then it kind of peters out.
Right, because of most of the hours are dedicated in the beginning to these sort of organizational things.
Yeah, we want to learn the client, we want to onboard them, and then we got to set you up, and it's a lot of setup work, and then it fades out. Same thing with almost everything.
Yeah.
Everything you do in life is like that, right?
Yeah, if you set it up in the beginning, you're better off.
I don't know if
It's
you
just-
have the hankering to bow hunt like I do, but I know it's going to suck really bad.
No, well, it doesn't have to suck. I mean, what's going to suck about it?
I'm just going to not be very good, and so I'm going to have to put a lot more time into it when I really get into it.
Yeah, but it can not suck, and you can still be bad at it, you know?
Yeah.
You got, I mean, especially your first time, you got to go out with a positive attitude.
What was your optimism score on the test?
7%.
7?
7%.
Mine was a 95.
Was it?
Yeah.
Holy.
It was the highest thing I had on there.
So between the two of us, we cover
But
all the...
I feel like I have a contrarian kind of mindset when I think about
And I was like, I thought I was optimistic. It's like, what? That was surprising to me, yeah.
I think there's like questions like, are people born bad or do they become bad or something like that? Or people are inherently good?
Yeah.
It's one of those like old philosophical questions.
Yeah. But I swore I answered it that they are inherently good. I don't know.
Maybe it mixed with, maybe that's what got you to a 7. You got that one?
It wasn't for that one question. Oh, jeez.
So you got anything else? Anything on your mind?
No, not really.
Well, good. We got a hard out anyway
Oh.
because I got to leave in 2 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah,
jeez.
yeah. Time flies. I hope this helps. Let's talk later. Let's engage on the internets. Hit us up. You can email us for other stuff if you want. We're getting guest requests a lot.
Yeah.
Not really sure what to do with those because I'll be like, all right, let's set it up, and they're like, can't do that day.
I know.
What are we doing? Why don't you just
know.
send me some dates?
Yeah, exactly.
So the best was I had a PR company, and one of like the reps found this podcast, and she was like, "Oh, we have all female CEOs. They're great. I gotta get them back on." But like, she was awesome because she was just like, "Boom, let's have all 5 of them." They only had 5 clients. That was their deal. But
Yeah.
like, let's get all 5 of them an interview. I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
So we'll get them back on. If you want to go back in the archives, you can check those episodes out. Really interesting stuff from each one of those CEOs. I'm trying to think. Anything else? Rate, review, all that good stuff. And, we'll do better next time.
Maybe.
Maybe? Let's get this champions going.
Someday. Okay. Go out and kick ass today, everyone. You can do it.
Let's end this on a positive. You guys can do it. I believe in you. The Doughboys Cash Out believe in you. It's time to be productive. It's time to streamline. It's time to put that hard work, that hustle in, that sweat equity.
Go get it.
Get some.
Get it.